You are a high achiever. You're the dependable one, the problem solver, the one everybody goes to when they need a counselor. You're a parent. You're a spouse. You might even be the firstborn child in your family. You tend to wear all of the hats. And I am this person. And I know that being this person doesn't come without costs. It drains your time, your energy, and it can often make you feel like you have nothing left to give, especially when it's time to take care of yourself. What I've seen happen if nothing changes, you inevitably experience burnout, sometimes even emotional breakdowns, divorce. You quit a job that you actually love and have purpose in, depression, you feel lonely, maybe even an identity crisis because you know that something has got to change. These people also typically have spouses who are also in high demand jobs. They might have ADHD and just really struggle with being the partner that you really need at home. I'm not saying that your partner is a bad person. I'm just saying that typically when you feel like, gosh, I really wish I had somebody at home that could help me out more, that person may not be able to be that rock for you. You might feel like you have to be the CEO, CFO, and COO of your home because everything at home has to fall on you. This is not applying to spouses who have real issues like addiction. That does not apply to these teachings. What I do is help people just like you save 10 to 20 hours per week over a 90-day period while not having to sacrifice your income. So knowing this about myself and the people that I've been able to help, I've developed the HATS program. This program is a simple 3-step process. It's not necessarily easy. The HATS program was designed for the person who feels like they're wearing all of the hats. What HATS stands for is home, achievement, time, and self. Step 1 is to rate yourself on home, achievement, time, and self. So for example, home, you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being home life is great. Everybody in the house chips in on chores and responsibilities. There's not a lot of chaos, not a lot of tension. Things are going pretty well. Everybody's happy, for the most part, healthy. If you could draw out the perfect picture of your home life, you're living it. A 1 is complete chaos. Your house feels like a borderline hoarder home. Maybe it is. You want to get a dumpster, throw everything out, and just completely start over. You and your spouse are butting heads. The kids are not chipping in responsibilities, and you truly feel like nothing gets done unless you do it or tell somebody to do it. And maybe you're at the point where you've just given up and now no one's doing it. The second one is achievement. Are you hitting your goals at work? 10 looks like I'm hitting all of my goals at work. I feel like I'm leading a great team of people if you're running a team. Not only are you hitting your goals as far as, say, money, sales volume, but you also feel like you're living in your purpose in what your job and career is. 1 looks like you're not hitting your goals. Maybe you're starting to lose money. You don't work with people that you like to be around, and you feel like, I don't know what I'm doing all this for. Next is time. 10 being, I spend my time doing activities that I love with people that I love when I want to. You have freedom. That's what a 10 looks like. A 1 looks like my time is dominated by other people. So whether it's team members, it's clients, it is customers, it is your household members, you just feel like you're constantly doing other people's to-do lists and you never have time to have flexibility to do things that you love to do. And then self. If you're a 10, you feel like you have time to do hobbies that you love to do outside of work. You have time to work on yourself from a personal development standpoint. And every day you're moving the needle towards becoming the best version of yourself. 1 is, who has time for personal development? The last time I read a book was high school, and I can't even begin to think about doing things that are just for me. Who has the time to go to the gym, to meditate, to do yoga, to read a book, to go to a class, to generally just take a breath and clear your head? So after you've rated yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 for each of those categories, you add it all up and you just see, where are you out of 40? Are you at a 35 out of 40, a 20 out of 40, an 8 out of 40? This score is going to give you a really great gauge on how are you really doing. And it might help justify the way you've been feeling. If you've been feeling overwhelmed and constantly tired and stressed, like you're going to blow up the next time somebody does even the slightest inconvenience to you or your family. That number gives gives you validity and also just helps you hit a reset. Now that we know where your HAT score is and having a really good idea on how you're feeling, the next step is what we call the inhale, hold, and exhale. In the inhale phase, you're going to literally write down everything that you have done in the last 2 weeks. And this is where you're going to kind of take in a deep breath. There's no judgment here, but we're trying to figure out where are you spending all of your time. And this can be everything from personal to professional to running the kids to the school play to putting stamps on envelopes, paying the bills, cleaning the house. If you're in real estate, maybe you're showing homes or meeting with clients. Every single thing that you've done. And I highly recommend going through your text messages, your emails, look at your calendar. And not only are you writing those activities that came out of those texts, emails, and phone calls, but I want you to look at how much time are you spending on responding to text messages, emails, phone calls, everything that you could possibly think of that you have done in the last 2 weeks to get a really good snapshot. Where does all your time go? And more importantly, your energy. The purpose of this list is to also understand what you feel like you're responsible for or the responsibilities that you take on that maybe you're not supposed to hold on to, which leads me to the next step, and that's hold. After we get really clear on your inhale list, we're going to use the hold quadrant, and we're going to organize everything from that list into 4 categories. And hold stands for hold, meaning these are things that you actually need to hold on to. Optimize, things that you probably do still need to do, but there might be a better way to do it or streamline it. Let someone else do, meaning you get to delegate or leverage a resource so that way you no longer have to personally do that task. And then my favorite is delete. That means we're just not going to worry about that task anymore. And you would be surprised how much of those are living in your inhale list. So for example, I have to hold on to all the interaction with my clients, my one-on-ones. Nobody else can do those one-on-ones in lieu of me. So that's going to go in my hold quadrant. In my optimize, that is where I'm going to put things that quite honestly AI can do for me. So for example, when I moved from Linktree to my Stand store, I didn't do that. I let AI optimize and completely do that process in the background. It took 5 minutes instead of an hour. And let someone else do in my personal life, we have leveraged a house cleaner every other week, and it has been the best thing for my marriage. And for delete, the one thing that I started doing was saying no to meetings that I don't need to be a part of. This is something that quite honestly, I'll teach you to do this, is I have to look at my calendar every week because it's so easy to get sucked into things that you think you need to be a part of. And then when you kind of step back from it, you realize, what am I doing? I don't need to do that. Could have been an email, a text message, or a phone call. Now, the fun part, and that is the exhale. Now that you've organized everything and you can clearly see the items that you do need to hold on to and the items that you don't, it gives you a clearer path on what actions you need to take. And that process in itself might for a second feel overwhelming, but here's the thing. You only need to exhale and delegate or delete 1 or 2 tasks at a time, so that way you don't go from feeling like you have all the control to no control too fast. Because for us high achievers, we love control. And so if we start to feel like we're losing control too much too soon, we'll freak out and we'll start just graveling them back. So I don't want you to do that, but we're going to choose according to your HAT scorecard, what is the most important thing that we delegate or delete first, so that way you can start to immediately feel that capacity start to come back into your world, whether it's time, energy, or both, so that way you have more time and energy to then work towards delegating or organizing some of those other tasks later. Step 3 is to really revisit this process every 90 days. You're going to revisit that hold exercise every week until you've delegated a few items off. And then we're going to reevaluate through the scorecard, go back through inhale, hold, and exhale, so that way we can continue to improve your quality of life one bite size at a time, so that way it's not overwhelming. So before I get into the next process, I want you to remember that what we're about to go through is going to seem very black and white. We're 1,000 foot up in the air looking down at the situation, and it seems like it's really clear. But there is going to be a lot of gray area that we're going to work in. And that's figuring out the items that you are actually going to hold on to. That is what I specialize in because it's highly unique for every individual, especially when emotions and families are involved, because we can only focus on controlling what you have true control over and not how other people are going to respond. So working with me helps you do that delicately so that way we don't create another storm on top of what you're already overwhelmed with. So now that we're clear on that little disclaimer, here's the process. Part of this exhale process, I don't want you to try to do too much at once. So we're going to use what I call the VFA tool, and that's going to help you implement one step at a time, week by week. Even though you know that the end result is going to be good, oftentimes there is a lot of fear here. And there's a lot of fear of failing. There's a lot of fear of doing it wrong. And working with me, I'm working with you. I'm there with you. So that way you're not doing it alone. You have somebody else to bounce these ideas off of. I want you to know that nothing is going to go perfectly smooth, but when you use these tools like the VFA, it's going to help you stay focused. You're only doing this 1 week at a time. So if something doesn't go well, we can just come back the next week and we can reset and try something else. VFA just stands for Vision, Focus, and Action. It's a one-page tool to help you win the week every single week, i.e. you know what your priorities are for the week. The documents or the tools that I have mentioned in this video are going to be linked in the description below. Feel free to use them if you so choose. My name is Brittany Guiles, and if you'd like to schedule a free consultation with me, that link will also be in the description. If you liked what I had to say, please subscribe and like, because more videos on how I help people who feel like they're wearing all of the hats are coming soon.